these whack-ass doctrines, man. But it just goes to show that they don't know the Lord. And that's the thing. Do you know Yahushua? Do you really know him? You may claim to know him. For example, you might have the name. You might have the names Yahweh and Yahushua, but do you really know him? Well, this is the question. How do you get to know the Lord? Through the scriptures. Through studying the scriptures. Through studying the scriptures. Not just by reading this part here and that part there. No. The scriptures say, lo, I come in the volume of the book. And I keep saying this. There's nothing in the Bible that is superfluous. There's nothing in the Bible that you can turn your back to and disregard because you don't think it's important. No, it all matters. You have to have the complete spectrum to have the full understanding. You can't just be dealing with this book about this topic and always be on just one topic. You've got to be diverse in all things, because a wise man understands many things, man. Look at King Solomon. He understood many things. He didn't just understand one breakdown, one precept to think he had the whole game. No. He understood a lot of things, and even then he didn't have the full understanding because he went off somewhat, you know, in building altars for his wives in his old age. But guess what? When he came back in his right mind to see how shy, he knew what he was doing, and he knew where he went off. So going back to the account of Sodom, and it says, but before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round about, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, saying, and said unto him, where are the men that came in unto thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Now in the scriptures, when it says, for example, and Isaac knew his wife Rebecca, or Jacob knew his wife Rachel, it means that they had sex to have sex with. To know the woman in the scriptures is a way of saying, and this man went into her and had sex with her, right? So, like for example, and Adam knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bare Cain, means he had sex with her, right? So these men wanted to have sex with the angels. Now how flipping mad is that? These guys wanted to sodomize angels. And again, it goes back to my point of saying that these guys, there's no frontier that is off limits to them. Once you open up your mind to doing that kind of sexual depravity, there's nothing that you won't do. I just thought of another brief testimony there. Shall I bring it out? I'm going to bring it out, right? We're in the park right now in a field. And I was up here a few weeks ago, not on camp day, but just on another day. And I saw something which was quite disturbing. I was sitting there with a friend of mine, and we were sitting under a tree, and just two guys came up nearby, and they set up a little spot where they were sitting down. And they had a little boy with them. And at first I thought nothing of it. And I'm just sitting there with my friend, we were doing what we were doing. And then, for some reason, I looked to the left and I saw this little boy. The boy must have been about, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe 4, running around, and it's completely naked. And I was thinking to myself, what the hell? This is a park, right, as we're in right now, similar place, just a bit further down. I was thinking, why the hell is that child running around naked? Completely naked, right? And it was a hot day and there were loads of people walking up and down in the park. And I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? Why is this child running around naked? And I nudged my friend and I was like, what's going on there, right? And the kid was just running up and down, right? So, I just said the child, because I'm not kissed. The child was running up and down. Then they gave the child a little sheet, and the child wrapped it around his neck like a Superman cape, and he was running with a wooden sword in his hand, still completely naked. And I'm thinking, this is off, man. We're living in a culture where paedophilia is rampant. People can't say that they don't know paedophilia exists no more. This isn't like the 1970s where it's kept hush hush and all this kind of madness. Now it's out there in the open. You know that there are predators out there, right? Then I thought about it. I thought, hang on a minute. This is two grown-ass men with a child. Then I put two and together. I thought, hang on a minute. Are those two guys in a relationship and they're raising that kid? You know? So two and two clicked to me, and I thought, man, this is some fuckery shit, man. This is some madness, because if you're letting your child run around naked in front of everybody in the park with no sort of tact nor decency, what are you doing? Don't the scriptures say that the father's not supposed to look on the nakedness of his son or his daughter, and the daughter and the son's not supposed to look on the nakedness of their mother or their father? Yes, the scriptures say that. Now, obviously, if you have a little baby, yeah, you're going to take the baby's nappy off and you're going to wash the child, and you're going to redress it. That's fine, whatever. But you're not supposed to be having your kid running around up and down bareback, man. What the fuck is that about? Because what is that? What mentality is that putting in a child as it's going to grow up? Now, these are Edomites, by the way. I'll put it out there. These are Edomites. Yeah? And you have a lot of these Edomites, when they go on holiday, what's the first thing they want to do? Walk around on the beach naked. Oh, I'm getting a tan. Or they go to these fucking nudist colonies and they're just fucking freaking off together. These are the basest of men. And the reason why I'm bringing that testimony out there is because, as I said, the men of Sodom and Gomorrah, they were completely gone. Nothing was off limits to them, you know? And those same people that were back in Sodom and Gomorrah are walking the earth today. And what does the US do? Predominantly the US makes all these laws and legislation saying, oh, these people have rights now. Now these people have got more rights than so-called heterosexual people. Yeah? And it's just madness because these people aren't supposed to have rights. According to the law, what is it, Leviticus 20:13? Let me get it quickly. Leviticus chapter 20 verse 13 says, if a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death, and the blood shall be upon them. So that's the judgment from Yahweh, right? So we're not supposed to be uplifting this stuff or joining hand in hand with these things. We're supposed to condemn these things. And that's part of the reason why this world is wicked, because Esau's ruling. And guess what? Esau's going into slavery. Esau thought he's on top. Esau thought that this is his world, but he's going headfirst into slavery.
Got one. Job 31. But now they that are younger than I have made in the... Let me start again, man. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Yep, that's right. And I was just talking to my mother about this the other day, actually. Was it in a week? I was telling her some news stories that I do, because as brothers in the truth, we're supposed to be watching and praying. And we read these news articles. I saw some flipping news story. In America, three Edomite men had some flipping orgy in a barn where they had cows and sheep and dogs and all this kind of madness. And they had an orgy in a barn and they filmed it. And they got caught and they got jail time for it. They got jail time for sodomizing sheep and goats and dogs and whatever on their farm, when really they're supposed to be put to death, and those animals are supposed to be put to death, because you know what? Those animals are now defiled. By you doing your dirty ass wickedness, right? You done defiled the animal, so the animal has to suffer for your wickedness. That's the judgment from the Lord, man.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, have I got it here?
Because it puts demons on the animals.
And here's the sad thing. When you go to your shop and you're buying your lamb, you're buying your chicken, you're buying your beef, right? How do you know Esau hasn't sodomized those animals before you eat them?
Oh my God, don't say that. But
this is the thing, if you're spiritual, you understand. Because Esau's wicked, man.
Elder Apostle Tahar said, leave my meat alone.
I'm just putting it out
I'm saying it too.
Because this is the kind of, there's nothing off limits to fucking Esau.
Oh
man.
my
Esau
God.
will do anything to try and pollute us.
Yeah.
Like for example, let's say you buy your chicken. Esau might be so wicked that he
oh God.
Takes a syringe, injects the pork, and then injects the pork into the chicken. So when you're eating the chicken, it's contaminated with pork.
They do shit
They
like...
do all kind of madness.
Yeah,
man.
they put what I heard the latest is there's probably all these fucking scientific tests they do. They put a coat of pork around the chicken, a coat of it, skin or something, like to preserve it, and it adds flavour.
Madness.
This is the excuse. I got a precept.
Go ahead.
Because one time one brother said that he was anyway, let me read this first. 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. A brother was when you stop eating meat, what do you call it? Vegetarian.
A vegan?
Yeah, you got vegan, you got vegetarian. I'm none of those things, but I went through a little stage. But when he broke down what they're doing to everything,
yeah,
You just, as it says there, you got to just be sober, be vigilant, man. Pray
Yeah.
over the food, you know.
That's a good point. And what did the scripture say? Let me get a precept myself. See, we're currently in the hands of our enemies, so we are at the mercy of what they give us, because we have to go to our enemies for the want of all things pertaining to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Unfortunately, that's the situation where we're in. But here's a precept on that point about our food, if I can find it. Right, this is Ezekiel 4:13, and it says, "And Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles wherever I drive them." So basically, the fact that we've got our defiled food is part of the punishments from not obeying our Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai.
Yeah, they've got this thing. It's called like they call it foam or foam. Sounds like foam. I just call it foam, right? And they're saying it's a secret recipe to replace meat. It's not meat, but it's a replacement for meat, because a lot of people want to go vegan. And once that's all you need to tell me, that they're fucking up the so-called. So it's not made from. It's a secret ingredient. That's all you need to tell me. For me, I don't want nothing to do with that shit.
That's a good point, because a lot of people don't understand that there's an agenda behind this veganism thing. Now let me put it this way: if you think, okay, I don't want to eat so much meat, I'm going to have a more plant-based diet, that's all good and well, that's fine, right? But Esau's actually weaponized it, in the sense that what he wants to do is, like, for example, as part of the New World Order, do you think you're going to be eating what you want to eat? Esau's going to dictate to you what you can eat. For example, with the chip, the MOTB, they might be able to, not they might, they'll be able to regulate and say, okay, you're eating too much sugary foods, we're going to allow it so when you go to the shop you can only buy fruit and vegetable. And they'll say they'll be doing it for your good, but they won't, because basically they'll be saving back on their they'll be saving money by giving you shit to eat, basically.
Rationing.
That's it, rationing you, right? So they're trying to push this veganism thing, and people are thinking, oh well, I don't believe in animal cruelty, so
they're buying into it.
Veganism. But guess what? Even though you're not eating the meat, Esau's still slaughtering the meat. So you're not stopping the meat from being slaughtered and being treated inhumanely. Now, there's nothing wrong with eating meat. In fact, it's technically impossible to be a vegan 100% according to our law, because the law of the Passover states that you have to eat the Passover lamb. You have to do that once a year.
Of course.
Now, if you chose, okay, for the rest of the year I don't want to eat meat, all good and well. But when the Passover comes, you got to eat that lamb, man. You got to eat that lamb, because it says the soul that which does not eat shall be cut off, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. So where was I talking about before that? We were talking about dirty ass people doing dirty ass things.
Oh yeah, Job 30. Can I just mention?
Go ahead.
I'm seeing, when I come in around these rural looking places, I'm seeing a lot of ease, and a lot of them now, you see them doing this. I mean, you see them doing all that. That's after effects to the juk and jab.
Yeah, they can't keep still.
Doing all that kind of, it's like because it's a nervous effect. What they call it when I think when that woman's face swelled up.
Like Down syndrome.
Down, it's like down.
Half the face is
but there's all kinds of, and I've noticed it a lot when I come around there. You see them walking slow, some of them, and they're walking, doing all that, and the most sides bringing down the numbers.
That's right.
Judgment.
Now let me put this out there. Lord willing, I can say this and it doesn't get the video clipped. But I shared in the chat this week, there was that. Let me think about carefully how I word this. Basically, blood clotting is one of the side effects, right? So basically what it does is it creates blood, to cut a long story short, creates blood clots.
Oh, Bell palsy, that's the proper name, medical term. Yeah.
But basically they're saying within 3 years that you're going to start to see severe blood clotting, and it's going to cause heart failure.
Oh, right.
So basically it's a ticking time bomb. You know, there you are thinking, oh, I've got the juk and jab. Yeah, you might be okay tomorrow, you might be okay next week, but guess what? You're going to start to see the effects within 3 years' time, and there's going to be a lot of heart attacks, heart failure. And what did the scripture say? Men's hearts failing them with fear. You know? So, I mean,
it's literal.
Way, but, you know, really men are going to be afraid of the things that are coming.
Yeah.
Which, I'd like to speak upon that actually in a bit, because I was also doing research on the development of the atomic weapons, you know, the Manhattan Project and that. And they were talking about when they had to test these nukes, and some of the men that were subjected to the testing, they saw the nukes up close. And when you saw their faces and the things that they were describing, and they were saying they were grown men crying, calling out for their mums, because they're saying it's like nothing we've ever seen before, the destruction. And those are trained soldiers, man. People that were hardcore trained for years to shoot people on sight. And they were there when they saw the nuke, and they're talking about all the colours they saw in it and how it looked so beautiful, but then this wave of heat hit them and all this kind of stuff, and they were terrified.
Stress,
I think they're called atomic soldiers, they called them. A lot of them died because of either they died during the testing, or they died due to the radiation poisoning they received afterwards. But basically the government basically said, look, you can't talk about this. You can't talk about this, otherwise we're going to kill you. So for years they had to keep secret about all the tests that they had to partake in. And I'm not sure how many of them died in it, but there's a few old men now who, now that statute of limitations about where they couldn't talk about it, I think that ended around 1990. And I guess the US government thought that most of them would be dead by then, but there's a few remaining. And when you see them, they're talking about it, it's like these men, it's like, you know when you look at a man and you know that he's seen something terrible, you can just see it in his countenance.
Yeah, I used to speak to a former Second World War veteran. He suffered from PMS, post-traumatic
stress.
Yeah, and we used to talk, and he used to tell me he's in his house, and he hears sometimes the children are outside just playing, and it reminds him back when he used to hear people dying and people getting blown up. One of his close mates, he used to give me all the stuff. One of his close mates lost his leg.
Yeah.
He suffered from it, and I used to talk to him, you know, just bringing. Them days I was bringing out magazines on the ministry and the Jehovah's Witness, giving out. So he was a regular customer, you know, if you like. And he used to give me a lot of these talk about a lot of what he experienced, man. And he said now the Queen don't give him nothing, no letters, no. They used to send out letters and stuff. He said they don't get no letters. He's got he's getting a certain amount of money a week, not what he expected on his pension. So he said he regret everything he done for this country. He was Italian, which. He could be a Jake. Now I know he could have been a Jake now. He said he regret everything. They don't have no respect for Italians, he said. You know, he used to speak a lot. I used to listen to what he used to say, you know.
That's a great point, and I'd just like to say this. There's a lot of soldiers that died during the testing of these weapons, right? And, like, you're never going to hear about it because they cover it all up. But likewise, it shows the nature of Esau, because Esau's putting out this juk and jab. He's even doing it to his own people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, he wants to take us out the game, he wants to destroy Israel, but the guy's fucking up his own people.
Yeah.
Just like when he's spraying the chemtrails in the air, he don't give a fuck about his own people.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Esau's a damn devil, man.
Yeah.
This is why it says, if Yahushua didn't come back, there'd be no flesh left to save.
Yeah, I found out, right? We know about the nano, I can say that word, nano, right? But
the nanotechnology.
The nano, what they put and they stuff in, and they stick it up.
Oh, the swabs, yeah.
Yeah, that's nano on a high level, a condensed level. But all what we've been doing, eating some of these foods, which I didn't know, I only found out, which I kind of knew, but I didn't know, if you like. It's been announced on social media that we have low levels of nano in us, which we take in all the time. Obviously, me with my physician mind, I knew all that. I knew from time anyway. But there's certain things like black charcoal. You know what I mean? You could take all them things out of your system that clean the heavy metals to a certain extent. Obviously, with the blessing of the Most High, anyway, we're gonna be all right, man. You know. But we're getting low levels of it in our body. We have to fight through that every day. Without knowing.
That's
you know?
a good point. And not to veer too far off what we were talking about, but just to touch on your point, I saw a video where someone in America had a bag of baby formula. It was like powder, you know, they used to make the powder milk.
Yeah, the baby powder.
And she ran a magnet along the bottom,
yeah.
And you saw the metals coming out of the baby formula. So yeah, they're putting it in the food, man.
Yeah.
As I said, nothing is off bounds to Esau.
They're putting iron. They're putting iron in the baby food and in the cereal. Literal iron, what you can use a magnet to detect.
Yeah.
Not iron that is supposed to be the iron, the nourishment iron, the food.
Yeah.
They're talking when they say, oh, fortified with iron, it's literally fortified with iron. And so you can't say you didn't say it with literal iron. You got, because you know they're using wordplay.
Yeah, Esau's got that forked tongue, man. Esau's got that forked tongue, so never trust thine enemy. Bear me a second, Slakia. Alright, can't. Right, so yeah, back into Sodom and Gomorrah, back on point. And it says, wherefore, and they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came unto thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. And Lot went out of the door unto them and shut the door after him. And he said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters, which have not known man. Again, that goes back to the point where I was saying when a woman knows a man, that's having sex, or when a man knows a woman. I have 2 daughters which have not known man. I pray, and you do unto them as it seems good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in unto us to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now we will deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. Now these guys have so much lust in their heart, they're ready to break down the damn door. Like, you gotta think about it, that's madness, man. Fucking madness. You can't trust these people.
Oh, the lust made him strong. We're gonna have spiritual power anyway. Fuck them motherfuckers, man.
And it says, but the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house unto them and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great. So they wearied themselves to find the door. Then the men said unto Lot, hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons and thy daughters? And whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place. Now this goes into Micah 2:10. Let me read this. Because that's kind of a metaphor for the times we're in now.
Yeah,
we have to arise and depart from this world.
It's showing. Yeah, if I could just add to what you're saying, that it's showing when the movie starts to, because movies they start off and a lot of them, not all, but some start like with action straight away to get you get you out of your seat, or some make you kind of be in suspense and you got to wait for the action to heat up. In this case with Mosai, it's all built, it's coming to that climax and it's building up. The action soon start. Yep. And as we saw there with Sodom, the action started when they wanted to go to the man yard, man, and lick down the man door, and as you're gonna go on, as you're bringing it out. That's a beautiful point, because in films they have what's known as acts. The first act, second act, and the third act. It's usually in the third act, which is when all the action takes place. So it's like in the beginning you have the slow little plot building up. It's like a kettle simmering. Then eventually it comes to the boil. Those are the times we're in right now, man. And for me personally, I find this exciting, man, because we've got more to look forward to than we can even imagine. You know what I mean? Like, even if, God forbid, any of us fall short, Esau's still going down. That's gonna put a smile on your face, man. Even if you God forbid, we don't make it, Esau's still fucked. Esau's still going down, and you know what I'm saying. To see the fall of one's enemy is going to be a beautiful thing. So just quickly touching on Micah chapter 2 verse 10, it says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So jumping back to Lot, the angels pretty much said to him the same thing. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, for it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And that's the same thing to us right now. So it says, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of Yahweh, and Yahweh have sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out